Hi, Alexa.
Hi, Rina.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. So I would just like to introduce Alexa to anybody watching this video. Alexa is our yoga teacher trainer for our up and coming pregnancy yoga course. So thanks for being here, Alexa, and having a chat with me.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So your CV is very multifaceted. All working with mothers to be, pregnancy, postnatal. I'm just interested because I know you also work as a doula as well as a yoga teacher and a yoga educator. How did you come to doing this, Alexa?
Well, it was all an exploration because when I did my general yoga teacher training, I did one in London, and then a year after, I went to India to do again 200 hours. Coming back from that, I was working in an office and didn't know yet what to do, how to do it, what was my style. And I decided to take pregnancy yoga teacher training. And with my mind, I was thinking, how do I deal with a pregnant mom in my class? So I started this training and I learned how important it is to have a special class for pregnant women. And I felt immediately attracted to working with pregnant women. It was very, I don't know, very remarkable for me. I really felt it straight away. I never had done it before. I had no idea of anything. I learned about doulas during that training, and that's how I did my training and it became a doula. And then I became a massage therapist and hypnobirthing teacher and lots of things from my first pregnancy teacher training. And I've done 3 more after that.
Yeah, you've got a lot of training, haven't you?
Yes.
It sounds like you were almost magnetized to it.
Totally. But I think I had it. I've always been motherly.
Yeah.
I do have a motherly spirit, and I'm the eldest of 5 siblings, and there's 13 years difference between me and my sister. And I was a teenager when she was born, and I looked after her a lot with, big sister responsibility and, parents who would give tasks and you do this, you do that. And yeah, I've always felt comfortable with families and kids, and my family is a big family.
Yeah, yeah. And you work in quite a holistic way, don't you? Like you have all of this experience, you've got the doula experience, you've got the massage there, you've got all your trainings. Is that what has made you be able to work in a holistic way, or is that something that you just think is the best way to work with pregnant women?
I think it's very personal. I'm very curious, and I put everything I do in the maternity support world. So everything complements. So I do yoga, I do massage, I'm a doula, I work in birth preparation, uh, breath and hypnobirthing and how to relax and prepare for all that. So yes, the holistic way, it's very interesting. There are 3 um, ways of care. You have the technocratic, which takes the body and mind separated, and it's a machine. The humanistic, which is organic, the body is a human, and the holistic adds the spirit and talks about it's more about the energetics and the relation with other energies. So it's person-centered. It's not just one body part, it's the wholeness. is the multidisciplinary, is how are you today because of this and this and that, many things. And it's the same when you go to see someone. I have my neck hurts. Most likely they don't touch the neck, they touch your knees, they touch your hips. How are you standing? How is your posture? You know, they always say they touch the big toe and something shifts.
Yeah, well, it's just everything is so connected, isn't it? And just you're speaking about this separation of body and mind, and body, mind, spirit. But you know, I think most people in our field do have a belief that's all connected. So how can you just work on one part? And I'm guessing with pregnancy as well, there's another soul there, there's another spirit there, there's another energy there.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine actually, you know, working in a non-holistic way. Now we're talking about it.
Yeah, that connection is so important. Is really one of the key things. It's very personal as well. There are different situations why some moms are connected with the baby or not, or working moms, other children, and no space to connect with that special child. But that's what a class would do, is the creating community, connecting with other moms, having that own time that now is me, only me time, with in connection with the baby, and how to slow down the mind, do some workout, feel connected, and feel heard as well. How are you today? Doing the check-ins, introductions.
Yeah. I can just because I can just from talking to you, you know, I can see what you're saying at the beginning of the conversation, which is just, you know, having those skills to work with pregnant women in yoga class. I mean, it just feels very different to other classes and other trainings, and you know, just the check-ins and the fact that you're talking about mother and baby connection and so on. It really requires some very different skills compared to your asana based.
And it's very much about blending knowledge with intuition. Your intuition, the teacher's intuition and the student's intuition as well. Or how does this feel to me today?
Yeah.
And it will vary. It will depend on the stage of pregnancy, how well you slept yesterday, what are the ailments you have, what are you feeling, how you're going to do that class that day. But it's no one single thing, and different paces, different, if it's dynamic or slower. So intuition from the teacher and knowledge from the teacher, knowing that there are certain things most likely, definitely, we're not going to do in this pregnancy yoga class, but what does the intuition say? Or can you do it for a smaller time instead of staying there forever? We don't do full postures in pregnancy because you are already so supple. And there's no need. It's very important, the alignment, but not to do the full posture necessarily.
Your answer has seeped into my next question. So I was just going to ask you that you know, so you're running a 6-day course. It's over 2 long weekends starting in September. And you've already spoken a little bit about the kind of knowledge somebody who attends your course will gain. Are there other areas of knowledge that one would attain from those 6 days?
Yes, of course, it will be practical. We'll be talking about the different asanas and postures that a pregnant woman is able to do. but the childbirth education side of things is very important. We will have guest speakers that are important also to receive this information from the experts. We will have a midwife, a doula, an osteopath, a postnatal expert in Pilates. So there are lots of aspects of the information of the pregnant body and the education in terms of anatomy, physiology, the baby and the mom. Yeah, we will be gaining lots of information on that. Plus the practice, plus the confidence in teaching a pregnancy yoga class where the vocabulary is different, the environment is different. It's like making it very cozy, using words that are nice for them to connect with their bodies easily, whether they realize or not, is how the teacher is guiding them to get that.
Sounds like there could be some quite sort of subtle things that make
Totally.
it different in terms of creating a nurturing environment.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
getting language and, like you say, vocabulary and the way that things are said and voice is probably quite important. And it sounds like the course is a mix of quite a mix of theory, practical,
definitely,
and then intuition is there in the
yes.
middle, fusing them. And I just wanted to also just say, and you can speak a little bit more about it, Alexa, but the training's not just for yoga teachers.
No, definitely not. It's open to anyone interested in pregnancy yoga. Sometimes there are pregnant moms who want to do a teacher training to deepen their practice. And it's a very intense childbirth education part and preparation for them. Doulas, midwives, body workers are very, very welcomed. Obviously, there's some certificates and regulations in terms of how you want to use the teacher training. If you want to work for studios, most likely you need to have a 200-hour teacher training prior to this one. But if you want to expand your knowledge on how to use movement, how to connect with the mothers in a different way, yes, of course, it's open for those who are not yoga teachers. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And just something that I read on your bio as well is that you believe in an active, positive, and conscious birth experience. Can you tell me what that, I mean, I know what those words mean, but what does that mean in practice?
Yeah.
And what do you think is an important environment to cultivate an active, positive, and conscious birth experience?
Yeah, good question. Active does not mean that you are active in the sense of being movement all the time. It's active in knowledge, active in researching, active in preparing. So obviously there's active birth positions where you are upright instead of lying on a bed waiting for someone else to do the job for you. Not judging that, I'm just talking about a low-risk mother that would be active in helping the baby to descend because she's using gravity, she's moving her hips, and that releases tension. And active in information, because once you have the information, you can make consent, and know what to opt from. There are always decisions to make. So if you are active in how to prepare, you will make that decisions very.
I have quite personal experience of that, Alexa, because I've had 2 kids. One was in a hospital and one was home birth. And for the home birth, I felt like I got quite a lot of childbirth education actually, because I wanted to be active, you know, and be able to make some decisions. And I did, one of the first things I learned was that obviously gravity does not assist you when you are lying down. And like you say, no judgment if you have to be lying down, but you know, just it made me realize, because every time I'd watched a movie, you're lying down on your back, legs up in the air, you know, stirrups, and that was what birth looked like from a media perspective. It just, and I do remember thinking, gosh, I'm so thankful for this information, because it's counter to what I have been fed through media images, maybe.
And that leads to the positive side of things. If you all the information you have is what you see in films, which is in a hospital environment, shouting and screaming and yelling and being lying on the bed, knowing that those are the birth stories that get the press, but they are more beautiful stories than bumpy stories. So staying positive that your body has been designed to give birth, staying positive that you can do this, knowing that it is intense, but positive not in a washy way. It's positive even when you need to accept that the journey is going another way that you dreamt. Staying positive that you are in good hands, staying positive that you're making the right decisions and accepting the journey. And what was the other word? Active, positive, and conscious. It's all related as well. It's like that mindful, working with the breath, knowing that when you release oxytocin and you're relaxed, is antagonist to releasing adrenaline, which make you anxious, and you know how to swim between both, because we need both. We need the adrenaline to help us cross the streets. And we need to know how to go back to our normal.
So is this the kind of information that you would be sharing on the course? Because then, you know, say if I came to your course as a yoga teacher that wanted to then work with pregnant women, this is the kind of information that then I could weave into the pregnancy class, or would it be almost like topping and tailing a pregnancy class?
So you're talking all the time in different styles of teaching, right? It could be the check-in introductions at the very beginning and a topic that the teacher brings to give information to the students. But as we go along, at least my style, I'm telling them, move your hips, it's so good for your baby, you know, or, you know, dance with your baby, connecting with the baby, but also moving the hips to release tension. It's not just one-off exercise. It's an exercise that is also preparing for labor. So that's another difference in a pregnancy yoga teacher. There are lots of positions for labor. There are lots of breaths for labor and birth. So we need to go through that childbirth education to learn what are those active positions to help the baby that has a will to be born, and the mother can help with their intuition what is the best position for the baby. So mother is left alone, does it all correctly. It's when we try to coach anyway.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of, I mean, you know, just from my own experience, there's a lot of intuition to tap into. I think it's just difficult, isn't it, when there's so many other voices? It's just, I think in this case, what we're saying is knowledge is power, and being able to have that knowledge as a pregnancy yoga teacher and impart that upon your students feels quite impactful. And then just you, as part of the course as well, students will be able to or will be encouraged to participate in pregnancy classes, and they can also participate in some of your pregnancy classes.
Yes,
Shala,
yes, of course.
To feel how it feels to be the student, essentially.
Totally, yes, it's an important aspect just to to observe different styles, but to feel it. It's not a class observation of making notes and trying to copy what other teachers are doing. It's the experience of participating and feeling the movements, what it feels. And then, of course, you would realize what would work for your style, what you wouldn't do that you've seen in that class for your own class. It's experience. It's part of the experience. It takes forever.
Yeah, well, I guess it's just, I mean, this is a thread that runs through all of our yoga teacher trainings, really, which is how do you tap into the authenticity of who you are as a yoga teacher and do what feels comfortable for you, you know, rather than sort of any cookie cutter techniques and so on, because it's just so important, isn't it, as a teacher to model authenticity, because we then, through doing that, encourage an authentic experience of our students as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've only got one more question for you, which is just, we've spoken about the practical elements and the theoretical elements and then tapping into intuition and so on. What mix is the course of those, and how scientific do you get with your knowledge as well?
I think there will be a very good balance in between theory and practical and scientific. Well, science, the body anatomy and physiology is part of our knowledge and science, but scientific is again mixing this knowledge and intuition more than anything. It's like the communication skills, the knowing when to give advice, when not to give advice. Yeah, but yeah, theory is always in your background. You'd never know when you're going to use it. You're definitely not using it all the time, but the class you're preparing is because you know all the theory around it. Yeah.
And it's great. So one of the elements of the courses is at the end, students will prepare an assignment. And often that word assignment comes across as gives people a few jitters, but it's a really great way to actually just amalgamate and integrate everything you've learned and use that assignment to practice some teaching, get some feedback, get some experience, but also just start to really tap into what sits right with you. What's your authentic voice as a pregnancy yoga teacher?
Yeah, it will be very, very easy, but always brings the nerves and anxiety of an assignment. But ideally, yes, you would be teaching a part of a class in front of the other students, and we will be giving feedback and advice and having the experience of teaching, which is important. And a written assignment, but as an assignment, super easy.
Yeah. I think a lot of the times with the assignments that we have on the teacher trainings really is not to be sort of how it was at school in terms of you have to pass and fail and grades and so on.
Definitely
It's much more
not.
about being able to put what you've learned into practice and get some constructive feedback. Really.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. Very easy.
Is there? I've gone through all of my questions. That's it's really good to get into the detail of this course and what you're offering and all the multifacetedness of it and the guest teachers and the practice and the theory. So I feel like I've got the information that I want to share with potential students. Is there anything else you want to add, Alexa?
Come and join us. Yes, it's fun. It's all about fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds fun. It sounds really fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So what I will do is just for anybody interested, we still have places. You can do this course fully online, and you can also do it coming into the studio as well. I will put all of the details that anybody needs to know in terms of dates and so on into the details in this post, and I'll also put my email address if anybody wants to reach out and have a chat and get more details than they can do. Thanks,
And
Alexa.
also we can clarify that the 16th will be a meeting for introductions.
Yes.
That is the Thursday evening. So on Friday we'll dive into the course in itself without doing the check-ins and introductions.
Yes, yeah, it'd be really nice to have 2 hours for people to be able to meet and mingle and introduce themselves. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Okay, thanks, Alexa.
Thank you, Rina.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.